Hello and welcome. In this video, I wanted to share with you start to finish the process of making this leafy pattern in my craft paper sketchbook. So it all started when I took a look back at a sketchbook I completed about a year ago, and I saw this spread and it made me want to go back and do something similar with leafy shapes and with the same colors. So these are 2 pages I already completed in this sketchbook with leafy patterns, and here's the new page that I want to start filling in today. So these are the supplies I'm going to use. It's a Liquitex professional paint marker in titanium white and another one in fluorescent red. They have a chisel tip because that's what's available in my country, but I know that you can find ones with a finer tip. And I'm also using 2 Rotring Isographs, technical pens. One is a 1mm nib and the other is finer. It's a 0.5 millimeter or 0.5 millimeter nib. So I started off with the 1mm nib, and normally I would sketch the leaves with the paint marker first, but here, because I wanted the leaves to be arranged on a little branch, I preferred to sketch them out first with the technical pen. I thought that because the paint marker is opaque, that once I paint the inside of the leaf, I'd have to go over and reinstate the lines, the black lines of the leaf, but that didn't happen actually. I didn't have to go over the lines, and the good thing about not having to go over the lines is that I can keep a consistent line width. When you reinstate a line, then the line width varies, and that's okay. That looks good. Sometimes I do that on purpose, but in this case, I just wanted the leaves to look super simple, like cutouts, very stylized graphic sort of leaves. After doing 1 coat of the paint marker, you can see that it's a very strong, very opaque, especially this fluorescent red. This fluorescent red is a beautiful color. It's a bit of an orange, but it's not exactly orange. It's got a very strong hue to it, and I love it. I have paint markers in other colors, and they don't compare to this red against the craft paper. After the first coat, I thought, well, I guess I could just leave it with 1 coat of red, but I wanted to make it even more solid and more flat. So I added a 2nd coat of red. Liquitex paint markers are relatively expensive. They're professional art tools and they have a lot of great qualities. You could get cheaper paint markers or poster paint markers. These have specific qualities that the other paint markers don't. That's not to say that I don't use other paint markers. I use the Posca ones and they're great, but they're different. After I finished doing the leaves, I thought I'd add some white accent to the background. I decided to go for circle shapes, and the white is much chalkier. It's not as shiny, definitely not in the first coat. I had to shake the marker out and let out some of the paint several times. Also, you could see that the marker was picking up fibers from the paper, which meant that it was much more moist. It had a lot more water in it. I'll try to show you this in a future video, how some markers pick up the fibers of the paper, whereas others are more plasticky and they sit on top of the paper and don't interfere with the paper itself. So I had to go over these white dots twice, and then I decided I'd make them even more solid and go over them a 3rd time. So with the white, I'd say 2 to 3 coats. With the red, I'd say 2 coats is enough. Obviously, you should let the previous coat dry before you do the next coat. Otherwise, you're just moving around and sloshing around the paint that's not dry, and you're going to make it look less solid. And then I switched to the 0.5 millimeter technical pen to create these lines as details inside the leaves. As I was making this, I thought to myself, real leaves don't look like this, but these are stylized leaves, and that's okay. They give the impression of leaves. It got me thinking that I want to use a reference photo of a specific leaf of a specific plant and try to look at how that leaf is arranged on its little branch and how the leaf is connected to the branch. Leaves are probably not connected to the branch exactly the way that these leaves are. They probably have a little stem of their own and they have a unique shape of their own. And I thought that would be a great exercise for future drawing. And then I decided to decorate all of the circles with the 0.5 millimeter technical pen, and I chose some pattern which I repeated across all of them. I was thinking, well, maybe I should do this pattern, that pattern. I guess it doesn't matter. I think the main thing here for me was to have a consistent look to this page. And for me, that meant that everything was outlined in black and had some sort of a detail inside of it with the technical pen lines. That was the process of making this page. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that it motivated you to pick up a sketchbook and make something. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you'd like me to show next, and I will see you next time.